So Harry, obviously farmers are getting closer to the idea of planting or seeding, depending on what crop you're in. I guess one of the issues, though, reading a lot about what could potentially happen in the Red River Valley in terms of flooding. What's kind of an update in that regard?
We're obviously have three things that it depends on. Number one, moisture from here on in, how quick the melt, and again, all of those things. We know that the water has to come from the south. The Red River catchment area goes at least 300 to 350 kilometers south of the border, and so there's been a lot of snow in that area. But we've had some melting conditions that have been very favorable to slowly getting rid of that moisture even as we speak. I traveled across the valley yesterday twice, and there's most of it is now black soil. So a lot of the snow, except for the tree lines, the roads, the ditches, and so forth, there's snow there, but on the fields, the snow is gone. But we have to contend with water coming from the Assiniboine out west. That's the Assiniboine River, and the Red River coming from the south. And they meet, as one person told me, at the forks in Winnipeg. And but
good place to sit on a patio and drink a beer and watch it all happen.
That's exactly it. So, one producer told me yesterday. He said, Harry, it looks like we could be in for a normal spring. And he's right in the path of that, even though he doesn't get backed up as some of the people do from the Red River. But right now, all the people that were flooded in 1997, and we had lots, all of those buildings have either been destroyed and moved to higher ground or put dikes around. So property is basically safe unless we get something that's even bigger. Fargo, North Dakota came out with their flood forecast just a few days ago, and they said it would 45% chance that it could be the 2009 flood. So here in Manitoba, we're going to see, I think today or tomorrow, a flood forecast. Sure, it's not good for those people that lie in the pathway, but for the overall agricultural area, far more concerned with the wet fields we had last spring. And I talked to Scott Day. He's a farmer and an ag rep at Deloraine. That's the southwest, used to be the dry area of Manitoba. Last year, he told me they had the most unseeded acres. And when I talked to him 2 weeks ago, it was a snowstorm. The schools were closed. He says, Harry, it's going to be a while before we even start to think about planting or seeding.
Right. So, what is that while? Do you see Manitoba producers being in a month, 6 weeks, 2 weeks? What do you see?
I saw an email from one farmer and an agronomist. He said, I think it came in Saturday, he said seeding in 3 weeks. He's usually the first one in the Red River Valley to probably plant, and his name is Curtis Penner, and he owns a seed company as well, pedigreed by Penner. And, he's pretty accurate, but he doesn't know anything more than others. But that's what he's talking, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's in the valley, the areas that don't get flooded. Once we get out to some of the underlying area, it all depends on what the weather is from here on in. We need lots of drying weather. We need winds, we need sunshine, and we need some warm temperatures.
How about, do you expect corn acres to be lower this year based on what happened last year and what potentially could be the lookout in spring this year?
The big Cinderella crop in Manitoba right now are soybeans. We had 500,000 acres last year. We've heard people talking about 750,000 to 1 million acres of soybeans right here in Manitoba, and they did great. Corn, talking to producers, I think those people that love to grow corn, I would think they would put in a few extra acres if depending on what that price continues at. So we'll see a few more corn acres, I think, but soybeans is really the one that we're gonna see a big boom in, and rightfully so, because farmers have done exceptionally well with soybeans.
Right, and not an early seeded crop either, right? So they got some time.
They have some time. May 15th is they don't like to get the edibles and the beans in until that first week in May, because they don't want to have that spring late frost killing those little seedlings. So, I come from a family. My dad farmed, my brother and his son farmed. My dad was one of those people that he needed to be out as soon as possible. I know we've sometimes planted even the odd time at the end of March. A lot of times by the middle of April, third week in April, that's when we were usually going. Will that happen this year? If we get the weather, I think some people will be on by the middle to third week in April.
Yeah, well, you said corn acres could be up, soybean acres will definitely be up. Where are you pegging canola?
Canola, those people. Some people are telling me, they're done with canola, they're done with wheat, they're going to go more with soybeans and more soybeans. So canola, I can't really say because obviously the price is there, but the cost of production are certainly to some people a concern. Soybeans, on the other hand, you don't need to have nearly those costs of production, and it's a great crop.
Mm-hmm. So why are they done with canola?
Just because they can now go to soybeans. So they're replacing canola with soybeans.
So are they putting those two in the same rotation or not?
Some of them are, if they want to play a little Russian roulette. But it's hard to say. At this point, I'd be guessing just for the simple reason I've been hearing soybeans, soybeans, and soybeans.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks a lot, Harry. We will talk to you again very soon.
Good. Thank you very much.